Hello and welcome back to the Lapdown podcast. And we're back because we've had a Grand Prix and it's been good. It's been Dutch. We got a little sprinkling of moisture and we have a fair bit to talk about as well. My name's Dan. I'm joined with Alex. And where would you like to start? Probably the beginning. But
the beginning, it's a very good place to start. I mean, while you're away on your travels, and to be fair, sometimes even when you're at home, you quite often will text me and say, should I watch the full race replay or should I watch the highlights? Because if you can't always get there on a Sunday afternoon. And this week, I said to you, it's an in-between one. I don't quite know. I lent and I told you to watch the full race replay because I thought it's fallen somewhere between, 10 minutes worth of action in this, or it's worth locking in. And I think I made the right choice in telling you to lock in for the full one. It's not a banger, but it's sort of it was a B, I think.
Yeah, it was good. And I think the thing is, it got extra goodness points because we all thought it was going to be terrible.
True.
And I think that counts for a lot. When you expect nothing and you turn up with something, I think everybody is genuinely quite surprised.
Yes.
And Zandvoort, kudos to you. Again, maybe this is the U-turn, and maybe it's going to be a shame that we're going to say goodbye to it at the end of next season. So, and we'll replace it with, where should we go?
Car park somewhere. There's a Costco in Milton Keynes. Go around the car park there. Yeah.
No, but that's too close to Silverstone.
Yeah, but we've got two in Spain, don't we? We've got 2 in Spain, 3 in America, 2 in Italy.
Good point. Oh, speaking of 2 in Spain, I've decided that Port of Spain probably wouldn't be the best place to hold a Grand Prix. So I kind of knew this before I got here anyway, but I did a little bit more research into it because I was curious, and turns out Trinidad is a bit murdery.
Oh.
And probably I'm not convinced at the minute that taking the world circus of Formula One to a bit of a murdery place would be that good. Did you know that it averages about 50 murders per 100,000 people last year?
That's too many.
I did say it was quite murdery.
That's quite murdery. And I mean, I know the teams quite often in like Mexico and Brazil, the teams get held up quite often, don't they, in one form or another? But
I mean, that's pocket change, I think, compared to what Trinidad are kind of cooking at the minute. So, look, maybe true. Guyana.
Maybe Guyana.
Maybe my hopes out. Anyway, right. Start.
I mean, hey, I'll segue that. Speaking of murdery, there was some hell of a set of moves going on this weekend, and there was some murders on track. I mean, wow. The Dutch Grand Prix had such first day back at school vibes for me. When you've got Max Verstappen making an error of that magnitude, I don't think most of the drivers on the grid are catching that. I think they're going round and probably going round into half the field. Yeah. When you've got him into turn 3 making that error, and then you've just got blokes going into the side of each other, the back of each other. Lewis Hamilton just inexplicably drove into the fucking wall by himself. This is just blokes that haven't been in the car for 4 weeks, isn't it?
Felt like it. And I kind of thought through practice and through qualifying we might have ironed all of that out, but it turns out that no, it was just a prequel to actually the main event. And do you know, it kind of feels like the good old days at that point when it wasn't just, wow, I've just got my car. You would have played Scalextrics, right? And I'm sure a lot of people listening and watching this podcast would have had a Scalextric sat at a point as a child, and you used to put the car down and you used to just go, and you have to be really, really shit in order to fly it off into the skirting board or the wall or whatever it is that you're kind of racing around nearby. But that never used to happen back in like the 90s. You used to have cars that kind of expired, and you used to have people that made mistakes, and you used to have people that have little kind of bumps here and there. And it felt a bit like that. And maybe that's why it felt a bit kind of good. Not bangered, but good. Because it just felt a bit kind of normal. It didn't feel kind of simulated.
It was a very Dutch F1 25 open lobby, wasn't it? Some of the racing that went on. I mean, there was some genuinely good racing in there as well. Like Lando going around the outside of Max into turn 1 is, I mean, I'll give you a hot tip. I think most of it just expected Max to push him into the gravel and that be race over. I'm amazed that ended quite as cleanly as it did. I mean, I don't know old school F1, right? And we will keep saying that. I don't know. I don't have a good old days kind of thing. But I can see what you mean there, because we had drivers throwing their car at each other. And at one point, and we'll get to this, Charles Leclerc just decided to fuck it off through the gravel to get an overtake done, and used both the gravel and his competitor to make it round the corner.
Whatever works.
Whatever works.
Makes it happen. I mean, it didn't work for Charles in the long run, did it? Because half of his Ferrari was missing. Or Lewis. Yeah, no, that didn't work either. Is that where we want to start? Do you want to start on your Ferrari point?
Yeah, we'll start on a Ferrari point. Why not? Painful weekend for Ferrari. That's a stinker. It's an absolute stinker. And I think it's worse because it wasn't even their fault. Like, both of them, not their... Lewis, okay, kind of his fault. He got on the paint and then ran it wide.
Certainly a contributor, yeah.
Yeah. But I have a question, right? When is the last time it was genuinely good to be a Ferrari fan? Like, when were they last eating well in their full red regalia?
So I'm pretty sure it was 2007 when Kimi Raikkonen won the World Drivers' Championship in a Ferrari. But that was a bit of at that point there, that was an anomaly. That was a bit of an outlier because we had that Max Verstappen kind of dominance up to it, and then we led straight into Hamilton, Brawn, and then Mercedes from there. So it was an outlier. So I'm going to guess, really, at the point that it was good, was back when a certain Michael Schumacher was driving the car. But to be fair to Ferrari fans, you should be relatively used to it if you've been on this planet longer than about 20, 30 years, because until Michael turned up, Ferrari were pretty dog shit anyway. They just need to find the next Michael.
Yeah.
And they've tried, like, my word if they tried, and they just have not managed to stumble across the right person. And I dare say it's not Lewis, and I don't think it's Charles either. Ooh. They need from the experience of what Michael had, Lewis. Look, I think there's a bigger conversation to have with regards to Lewis at some point soon. And Charles is just too nice.
Interesting.
He's just a nice boy, isn't he, Charles Leclerc?
Yeah,
He's just a nice boy.
He took being spun round by a child really well.
That's what I mean.
Because even on the radio, he wasn't going off about the fact that he'd just been absolutely suicide bombed by Antonelli. He was talking about, why did we pit? Like, he was seeming to begrudge the fact that he was in that position to have been T-boned rather than the fact that he got T-boned in the first place. Which, I mean, some people will call it gentlemanly and some people will call them too nice, I suppose. But I do get what you mean. I do get what you mean.
I think Michael had full kind of range to be able to just sack people when he was there. And I don't think Charles, even if he had the ability to sack people, I don't think he would.
Yeah.
Whereas Michael would have just turned around and said, no, you're shit, you're gone, I'm getting another one. And that would have been the end of it.
Yeah.
So, hey, look, Ferrari fans, tough yards.
Yeah.
I don't know whether anybody really thought Hamilton coming in was going to save it or not. I think people were hopeful. I certainly was hopeful. But deep down, I think we probably knew.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose from my side, and I'm guessing maybe a few other people's side, I saw the Hamilton story as being what can Hamilton do for Hamilton rather than can Hamilton come in and be the saviour of Ferrari. It was more, would a change to Ferrari give it a nice fairy tale ending for Lewis Hamilton rather than they've... You know, like Mercedes, Mercedes don't necessarily need a resurgence quite in the same way that Ferrari maybe needed an input. But if Mercedes had signed Verstappen, that would very much feel like that is Verstappen helping Mercedes and not Mercedes helping Verstappen.
Yeah.
And I would say with the red horses, I would say other way around, that's a little bit more that it was perhaps Lewis looking out for Lewis, which is perfectly entitled to. You get to that stage of your career and who you are, you drive where you want to drive. That was not a good trip to the Netherlands, really, for Ferrari.
Box it off though, because home Grand Prix next for Ferrari fans, and I am certain Monza will be much better.
Yeah, and you're basing that off
nothing.
Excellent. That's all we need. Should we go to some good stuff though? We'll sandwich it. it. Isaac Whadjar, wow, what a weekend. May I say, Wisack Whadjar?
You can.
I've said it.
You have full permission to be able to say Wisack Whadjar. But just, what a human being. I know he drives for the right team in order to kind of find out who he actually is as a human being. If he drove for somebody else, I don't think we'd be any the wiser as to who Isaac Whadjar actually was. But because VCarb are a bit kind of memey and a bit young, aren't they, with their social media stuff, we actually get a really good perception of who Isaac Whadjar is as a human being, which is amazing. And I can't help but feel that everybody who's watched the Formula One Grand Prix or any piece of Formula One content over the last 9 months of the calendar hasn't sat there at the end of that Grand Prix and gone, that's really nice. Yeah. I'm really happy for him. I did pose you the question. I know we switched from Colapinto to Bortoleto in the preferred driver of the Lapdown podcast. And since we've done that, I realise we've had the summer break. But I don't think until that very moment just gone that Bortoleto's name has even been mentioned in this podcast. Did we go too early and did we pick the wrong bloke?
No, because, and I'll keep telling you about this, doesn't matter how they drive the bloody car. It's nothing to do with the car. It's about vibes. And Isaac seems a lovely young man, and he does the lip-syncing TikToks well. But I need to find out what his favourite beverage is, right? What his preferred age of lover is. I need to find out all of these various things about Mr. Whadjar before he is in contention. But I will say, I think Isaac Whadjar is a sleeper pick of rookie in the season because he's just quietly, continually gone about his business. I think Antonelli's fallen off a cliff. I think Ollie Bearman's fallen off a cliff. I think Colapinto, yeah. Liam Lawson, nah. I mean, again, Liam Lawson is sort of keeping his nose very dirty, but then occasionally does something quite good that you go, actually, yeah, you are fucking quick, but also you are rough around the edges.
Yeah.
And it just, yeah, he's just consistently delivering. I mean, that was a podium on full merit. Yes, okay, he inherited the actual podium because of a DNF, fine.
Yeah.
But he's qualified where he qualified. It wasn't, Ollie Bearman did tremendously to get to P6, but he did that from the pit lane because they got their, pit stops right and whatever. It's still a great drive. Wonderful drive, not taking anything away. But that wasn't a Hulkenberg style, right place, right time style podium. That was a full merit podium that just needed a little bit of extra Formula One luck at the end. I think we still would have had this conversation if we'd have finished P4. It wouldn't be quite as special as the fact that he's broken a trophy, and we can talk about that in a second. Had he have... Cause he started P4, didn't he? Did he start P4? I think he started P4, finished P3. Yeah. And even if he'd have started P4, finished P4, I think we would have both gone like, fuck yeah, like that's a serious weekend. That was not a fluky quali. So, yeah. Also, are we saying Isaac or Isaac? Because I feel like I've started to hear more people say Isaac or Isaac as opposed to Isaac, and I don't know if we've had a pronunciation guide go around. I
don't know. But, hey, if we end up with Premier League football style driver name pronunciations, I'm all for it.
Daniel Farker.
Exactly. Bring it. Just it'd be so good.
Isaac
Absolutely brilliant. But yes, I would say, I mean, for me at the minute, I would say the rookie of the year is between Isaac and Bortoleto. I don't think I'm not convinced I've seen enough with particularly if you caveat it with the kind of the tools that they have available to them that have really kind of worked. I think Lawson you can discount for the fact that he got binned off from the big team almost on day one, and the fact that he's not really a rookie now. Colapinto, just not really kind of working out. And Antonelli, whilst he's kind of shown glimmers, he just seems to, for whatever reason, to have just kind of packed it in this year, hasn't he? And he's not performing the way he was earlier this year. I think it's between Isaac and I think it's between Gabriel for Rookie of the Year at the minute. And I feel like it's going to probably stay that way all the way through to the end of the season. And it's going to be quite a hard argument to take away from Whadjar because at the end of the day, he's going to finish with a whole sack full of points and Bortoleto isn't. Yeah. And it's always going to be difficult to quantify just how good of a performance it was going to be. And which I will say quickly, welcome to Formula One, kick F1 team, because you can't gamble in Holland or you can't advertise it. So stake died for a minute. So good for them. Welcome for one race and one race only, because I think the Italians are all for gambling.
Yeah.
But how do you quantify it when you finish kind of 13th and 14th and 11th and stuff like that? You go, it's really good, but it don't really mean a great deal, does it?
Yeah.
The trophy's fucked.
Yeah, trophy's fucked. Did you see the video of him breaking the trophy?
Yeah.
The bloke just puts it down gently on the floor and it goes, nah, fuck you. Yeah. Like, it's a beautiful trophy. I think we need to make him slightly stronger. It's beautiful trophies now. I get it. It's porcelain, right? And porcelain is notoriously fragile, and also porcelain will fuck you up. That shit gets sharp. We know it's a trophy, and we know that they get sort of tossed around on podiums and whatnot. Could we not have fucked a load of concrete in it or something? Or like reinforce... You know when they make those really big... Cake Boss, right? They make those really big, extravagant cakes, like a giraffe, and they're 18 foot tall, right? And it's largely Rice Krispie treats and sponge. But they stick a load of wooden sticks and dowel through the middle of it to hold it all together. Let's start putting wooden dowels in our trophies.
Imagine getting to the end of a 2 hour and 15 minute Singapore Grand Prix, driving around in 180% humidity at 1 o'clock in the morning, 38 degrees, hopping out and going, yes, I've just won the Grand Prix. And then being asked to deadlift an 80-kilo trophy above your head because it might bend if you put it down a bit too hard.
Hey, there's no bad ideas in a brainstorm, Daniel. There are no bad ideas in a brainstorm. And what you're bringing me
there isn't. But I mean, there isn't.
That's broken trophy logic from you. You're giving me broken trophy energy.
What I've done,
got solid trophies.
No, what I've done is I've broken your trophy logic.
No.
Yeah.
Because it can't be broken because it's fucked full of concrete.
You can't pick it up.
But you can't break it.
Look at it nicely.
Yeah,
Imagine
that's what trophies are for, to be looked at nicely. It goes on the shelf.
Yeah, but all right. So what you're going to say is, right, you're going to pick this trophy up that you can't pick up because it's too heavy. So you can't get your photos.
I think you've got bad concrete.
What on earth is going to be the DHL kind of shipping fee to get it back from Singapore? Because knowing what these companies are like, that just because they're the title sponsor of Formula One shipping partnering logistics, there ain't no way they're going to let you just carry it on as hand luggage. No chance is that going to happen. You're going to turn up at the gate, and the lady at Cathay Pacific or BA is going to go, nah, sorry, you're 50 kilos over because of this trophy. So therefore, you're going to have to pay an extra 50 kilos worth of baggage to get it in. They're not going to allow you to take it into the cabin. You're going to have to check it in, by which point it's in literally the law of the gods as to whether it even gets to where it needs to be. Then you're going to have to get back home, which you're going to need some form of like 44-ton logistic company to be able to transport it from the airport to your front door, of which then you're going to need to hire a big JCB crane in order, like the fat people that need to have their windows removed in order to take them out of their bedroom to take them to hospital in the jumbulances. They're going to have to pick them up, hire a crane, deliver it to the house, by which point, if you live in a first floor building or anything more than that, in case it's not a house and your trophy room's on the ground floor, you're going to have to restructure and reinforce the entire house because you're trying to put in a 30-ton trophy because you've put a bit of concrete in the bottom.
How heavy do you think fucking concrete is, Daniel? I don't think you've ever seen concrete before in your life.
Here's a solution. Be more careful.
He could not have been more careful about gently putting his trophy down on the floor.
Be more careful.
Concrete does not weigh as much.
Problem with this world today is there's too many people making excuses for other people.
No.
Be gentle.
Concrete does not weigh as much as you think concrete weighs. You're using the what? You've got a bad concrete guy. You've got a bad concrete guy. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say.
Anyway, move on.
Terrible, terrible concrete. I just want to call out Helmut Marko again. It's one of my favourite things to do on this podcast because he's an old little cunt. In Australia, Helmut Marko ran his mouth about how weak Isaac Whadjar was and how bad it was that he was crying, all this, that, and the other, right? Said some horrible things. We called him out on this podcast. We got a fucking TikTok cares message and that got taken down because I called him a cunt fossil. I'll do it again. Guess what? You're a cunt fossil. But don't now come out because he did really well this weekend and say, oh, I knew he was going to be the next Alain Prost and he's always been my little Prost and what an incredible driver he is. No, fuck yourself, you cunt fossil. You don't get to do that anymore. You've blown your cover and you don't get it again. I'm sorry, I've done it again. Come for me, TikTok. I don't care. I'm saying it. Fuck off. Fuck off. Done. That's all I've got to say on that. Stop trying to claim credit. You can't claim credit for him now after what you said in Australia. That's not how it works. That is just not how it works. Anything from you on that, Dan?
I don't think I can add anything to any value to that other than the fact I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Fuck off.
You're right, you can't.
Go hang out with Christian. It bothered. I mean, the bloke's always bothered me, and he bothers me more now. But anyway, well done, Isaac/Isaac/Wisack/Whadjar.
Good for him.
Let's just go Whadjar. Whadjar's the easiest one to go with.
Good for...
Right, McLaren. Oh dear.
Well, not only on one half.
But only on one half. But McLaren as a team, oh dear.
It's not as a team though now.
Well, true.
It isn't. It's not as a team because the constructors is done. So the team is sorted. They've won that already. They'll lift that trophy. They'll take it back to Woking or wherever it is they live in their little McLaren Technology Centre. It's all on Lando now. It's oh dear Lando. Yes, it's not directly his fault, but it's oh dear Lando. That's the title for this part of it.
Yes, but I would say there is a small amount of oh dear McLaren in that we don't often anymore see genuine mechanical reliability DNFs. So that is more concerning, I think, for McLaren as a team, because if they've got a little time bomb under them, like you can't be. Yes, they've wrapped it up, so the actual consequences for McLaren are short-reaching. But you don't want your driver going, I can smell smoke in my cockpit and it smells really funny, and then 3 corners later going, I'm out. Oil leak. I've got nothing. I've got no power. Can you bring it back? No, I can't bring it back. I've already stopped. I'm actually out of the car. Like, you don't see that often anymore. It's strange to just see a car go kaput like that.
Certainly on track. I know a couple of episodes ago we were in conversation about this very thing because McLaren powered by Mercedes, and we were talking about the issue that Mercedes were having with some of their kind of customer cars. Albon's in particular just would not complete a Grand Prix, would it, for about 3 weeks on the bounce. And we did have this very conversation about, should McLaren be worried about it? Shouldn't they be worried? What can they do? What can't they do? And I think at the time, if I remember rightly, I said along the lines of, they've probably got a better understanding of how it actually works. And up to that point yesterday, they did. They hadn't had those issues, had they? They hadn't stumbled across it. They hadn't suffered from it. But they have now. Yeah. I don't necessarily think they're going to massively cry about it as a team. I think they'll consider it at the moment to be a one-off. The big issue is the person that will be crying about it. Maybe not crying about it, but certainly Lando fans, and certainly all of us that were hoping for a real kind of neck and neck ding dong championship battle right the way to the end, because there is now, and it doesn't sound like a lot, there is now a 34-point gap between Oscar and Lando. Now, it doesn't sound a lot, does it? Because 25 points for a race win. But 25 points for a race win doesn't sound like a lot. But as you said, these cars don't expire by themselves anymore. It's very, very unlikely that Lando's going to pick up 25 and Oscar's going to pick up 0, exactly like Oscar did just yesterday. But I had a look through, and if they're going to take that all the way through and Lando's going to catch him, he needs to outscore Oscar by 3.8 points per race, which again doesn't sound like a lot.
No,
it doesn't sound like a lot. But when you look through the previous 15 Grand Prix and those 34 points that Oscar has extended the lead, it works out at 2.25 points. So actually, 2.25 to 3.8 is a massive percentage chance. We are going to have an Oscar DNF, a Lando win, in order to bring some form of parity back to this World Drivers' Championship, I think.
Yeah, I mean, without being dramatic on it, Lando basically has to win the remaining 8 races of the season, doesn't he? Like, he just needs to go...
If we're not relying on others,
yeah. He just needs to go and win everything now, and just sort of... At that point, at least he's given himself maximum. He can't keep... he can't have a P3 at any point. No. He has to be P1... Okay, he has to be P1 or P2 every weekend, but realistically, he needs to win everything. And I think we've still got 1 or 2 more sprints to come as well, just to mix things up a little bit.
Maybe 1, I think, from memory.
Because there's definitely an American sprint. We haven't had COTA yet, have we? There'll be a COTA sprint. There's usually a COTA sprint, and there's usually a Qatar sprint, or there's been a Qatar sprint before.
We've had Brazil in the past as well.
Yeah, but I mean, he's just got to win the lot, which is fine. If you want to win the championship, go win a whole bunch of races. Like, I've got no problem with it being like that. But it is disappointing that it wasn't. Actually, no, this is wrong, because the social reaction would have been horrendous. But it is disappointing that it wasn't him putting it in the wall. Like, if he'd a DNF there because he'd done a Hamilton, that would almost have been better. Because then at least when we look back at 2025, and if Oscar does go on to win it, which he should now, at least people can't go, but Lando's car blew up in, Zandvoort, and what if? Like, if Lando had at least driven it into the wall himself, or, had a tussle with someone and it was a driver error, then it's sort of harder to take. But
agreed.
And I also think we've been robbed of a banger this
it.
weekend. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah. I'll caveat it all because, I mean, we'd have pissed off so many people by now on this social clip and this podcast anyway, so it probably doesn't mean anything, and you'd have all commented and reacted and called us all kind of horrible words by now. But neither of us have any issue whatsoever with Oscar Piastri winning the World Drivers' Championship.
I prefer him to listen to my accent.
Exactly. I mean, you are an Australian human being, despite the fact being called British by anybody that doesn't understand the fact that Australia and Britain aren't actually the same place.
Correct.
Which you could kind of class to be a bit racist, couldn't you? But anyway, we'll move on from that. Yes, neither of us have any issue. But I think the issue that we did have, as you just summed it up, is the fact that we were kind of hoping for that banger right the way through to the end. And now, not inconceivable.
Yes.
Not inconceivable.
Unlikely.
But it does feel like Lando's going to have a bit of a divine intervention here in order to gain something back. And unfortunately, it probably does involve Oscar having a bit of a dunf.
Yeah. Have you noticed, by the way, Zach Brown absolutely has a favourite child. I know this is not necessarily a well-kept secret, but all the pictures and any time he appeared on camera post-race. Now, I do get it, right? He might have had a couple of things running through his head of like, oh, one of my cars has just blown up. That's not good. I've got a problem there, right? And his mind might have been focused on that. But he was the walking American version of that nice, happy for you meme. The entire like post-race celebrations there because Lando didn't win. It's like, I'm sure he's not doing it deliberately, but also someone on their comms team or their PR team has to be like, hey, Zach, like, let's just force a bit more bubble post-race regardless of who wins. Like, we need to be giving it the big and the big hugs and whatnot, and then we'll go in the motorhome and then you can look grumpy.
You can cry.
Like, because he had a face like a slapped ass. The whole like fucking trophy presentation. There's that video of Isaac like running to his team, and it's really cute. In the foreground, it's just Zach going, "Oh." It's like, come on, Zach. Right, not a huge amount of movement in our random world championship.
No, the comeback's on though.
The comeback's on.
The comeback is on. You got a point because Esteban Ocon existed.
Well done,
and I've got 2 points from the weekend because Yuki Tsunoda. Well, he's back. He's back to his very best, Yuki Tsunoda. So yes, the deficit is now 26 points, I think, in your favour. And first, just to kind of wrap this bit off, because I realise I've got kind of 18 minutes until I need to leave this hotel, and I still need to pack my bag and have some breakfast. But what the fuck were the stewards doing with regards to Carlos Sainz? Because I genuinely, this is the first time with this kind of random wheel spin world championship that I felt incensed by some form of decision with regards to, because I want to beat you. There is no doubt about this. It's not a case of, oh, well, it's all random and I don't care. Funny. No, I want to win. And had they have not bent him over and raw dogged him with some absolute bullshit 10-second penalty for literally being driven into by Liam Lawson, I'd have scored more points, and we might have been talking about a 3-point swing rather than a 1-point swing, and that would have been huge.
Yeah. Can I also say as well on the stewarding thing, and we've done plenty of minutes on this podcast before complaining about stewards, but can we stop with this investigated after the race bollocks about racing incidents?
Yeah.
Like, I've got no problem with them on stuff that is clearly inconsequential, right? That they go, we'll look into that after the race. Stuff where it's going to be like team fines or it's anything like that. Yep. Any penalty or any incident that is likely to have a time-based penalty, unless it occurs in like the last 3 laps or something and there is physically not enough time to review it now, there is no reasonable excuse for them not to be investigating that mid-race and providing that penalty in the race. We should not be, as fans, having cars cross the line and us not know if that is where they actually are, that because there might or might not be an investigation. Like, just look at it. There's like 18 of you in the fucking room. Like, just get on with it. Get on with it.
Yeah, 100% agree.
It's not that hard, surely. It cannot be that hard. They make it look that hard every week, but it cannot be that hard. Anyway, right, we're going to wrap things up there. We are on a double bubble, so you should be hopefully back with us later on this week as we look ahead to Monza and the big Ferrari revival. You heard it here first. Dan Jads has called it. In the meantime, Dan, where can they watch you do Caribbean-based stuff?
Yeah, just have a little Google of Dan Jads on the internet. Things are going quite well. Followers are flying, so we're doing all right.
Good
How about
stuff.
yourself?
Good stuff. Twitch.tv/hey look, it's Alex. You can come watch me play games on there. If you want to read about some tech reviews and stuff, mediaberry.co.uk, you can do it on there as well. Lapdown Pod for us everywhere else, lapdownpod@gmail.com. Leave us a review, share it with someone, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Hit like on the video. You know how it all works by now. We will see you later on this week for a bit of double bubble action. Thanks for listening.